Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to solve a few example inequality problems. Since you already know how to solve equations, I'm just going to brush through this pretty quick, but I do want to make sure you know what you're doing. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to solve the first one as an example, and then I'll have you pause the video and try the next two on your own and see what you come up with. All right, so in the first example, I've got 2 times x minus 3 is less than positive 1. If I want to solve for x, I got to get x by itself. That's the goal. In order to get that by itself, I have to undo what's being done to it. I'm multiplying by 2 and I'm subtracting 3. So in order to get x by itself, the first thing I have to do would be to add 3 to both sides, just like we did with equations. And if you want to draw the little line, that's perfectly okay. The 2x will still slide down, so that becomes 2x. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so it cancels out. That's what we wanted to happen. And then we've got 1 plus 3 equal to 4. Okay? And then finally, to get x by itself, just as you might expect, we want to divide both sides by 2. And that'll leave us with 1x on the left. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this would be the solution to my inequality. Now remember how to graph that. I'm lazy, so I only do 3 little tick marks here. I put my solution in the middle and then fill in around it. Now, this is less than. It doesn't have an equal sign, so we're going to need an open circle. And then notice the variable's on the left, so this little inequality arrowhead points in the direction that the arrow needs to go. But you also can remember, it might be easier for you to remember that less than or equal to always goes to the left because it's less than. Greater than or equal to will always go to the right because it's greater than. So this is the solution to this inequality, and that's the graph of the solution. Take a second, pause the video, and check out these next two examples. Try them on your own, and then I'll be back to explain in just a second. Okay, so solving this next one, we're trying to get x by itself. In order to do that, we have to get rid of a negative 4. So I have to add 4 to both sides. And then I'll add up and down in my little columns. This negative 3 slides down. Negative 4 plus 4 goes away. And we're left with left center equal to 14 plus 4 is 18. Now notice to get x by itself, I have to divide both sides by negative 3. And look what happens here. I'm dividing both sides by a negative number. So remember that rule is I have to flip the direction of that inequality. So I'm going to take it, flop it over, and it becomes greater than. 18 divided by negative 3 is negative 6. All right. And with these, we want to graph the solutions. So we'll come down here. We'll put negative 6 in the middle. Negative 7 goes to the left. Negative 5 to the right. Now notice there's an equal sign underneath of this one, so to graph that, I need a closed circle over the top of my solution, negative 6. And then the arrowhead is greater than, so greater than is always to the right, so my arrow is going to point to the right for that one. Okay, jumping into the next one. You have many choices in how you want to start this problem, but I'd make a suggestion to you. Always start, when you have variables on both sides of the inequality, always start by moving the x in such a way that it leaves you with a positive x value. You don't have to do that, but most of the time if you do it that way, it's going to save you a lot of work. So in this case, to keep a positive x, I'm going to subtract the smallest x from both sides. So smallest x here is 4, so I'll subtract 4 from both sides. Then I'll get 6 minus 4 is 2x, minus 15 comes down, less than 4x minus x goes away, and I've got 11 on the right. Now we're back to a two-step equation just like we did in the previous examples. Trying to get x by itself, I got to get rid of this minus 15, so I will add 15 to both sides, and that will leave me with 2x. That goes away, and then we've got 11 plus 15 is 26. And then finally, getting x by itself, we'll divide both sides by 2. And notice we divided by a positive number, so we're going to leave that alone. It's still less than 26 divided by 2 is 13. So x is less than 13. And just to show you one more graphic example, 13, 12, 14. This doesn't have an equal sign under it, so it has an open circle. It is less than, so that means that all the solutions are going to fall to the left of that circle. My arrow points to the left. If you have any questions, bring them to class.